Hello, First Baptist Church. Good to see you this afternoon. I hope everything's going well in your world. I hope you're safe. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're ready for school to start, because it's coming. Monday is the start of school here in Denver City, and so we want to make you aware of something we're going to do Sunday. Sunday evening, we're going to gather with the other churches around and hopefully a lot of our folks, and we're going to walk through a prayer guide around our schools and praying for our administrators and teachers. And so we'd love for you to join us this Sunday evening, August 16th, for that. We have some other things coming up, and we want you to pray over and think about and consider. And we're trying to register people for our life groups, not because of any other reason than we're restarting, and we need a number to know how many teachers to have, what space to put different groups in, and those kind of items. So all the registration is intended not to get your information. We have most of that, but we want to get a number. So you can do that as simple as calling the church and say, I'm in on life groups on September 6th, or you can go to the app and text the number 94,000 in your address to text. That's the number you text, and then in the message part put FBC-dc. And there's a link there to register. We need you to do that if you would, so that we have a better idea of a number on September 6th. I know lots of folks are ready to come back, and lots of folks want it to be back like it was, and lots of folks are still a little hesitant. And so I know we are in many ways as divided as the community is, the society is, over all of this COVID-19, but we want to unify. We want to get together and we want to get around people of like mind and discuss things like the scripture, like the sermon, not how good or bad it was, but what it means and what it means for our lives, how we can apply that. And so we believe that small groups are the way to do that. Life groups, Sunday school, whatever you want to call it. We encourage you to be a part of a men's ministry, women's ministry, or life groups here. We have lots of opportunities for that to happen, and we're getting those re-going again, opportunities to share prayer and care for one another. So please take advantage of those opportunities. We are trying to provide for you. And again, those life groups on Sunday mornings will start back. We're targeting September the 6th. And the reason we're targeting that date is because school would have been back in session for about 3 weeks already. And it's right, I think that is right before Labor Day. It's kind of a soft opening for us to regather and make sure we have enough room and we're prepared here for whatever might come. And then, of course, it's time to do that. It's time to get going again. So please pray through all of that. I did talk to Judge Barron this afternoon, and he gave me an update on the COVID situation in Yoakum County. His numbers are a little bit different than the health departments, but he thinks that those numbers are a little more up to date, a little more accurate. So he says we've had 117 total cases in Yoakum County. Pray for those families that have recovered, and we have a few folks within our church that have tested positive for that. Not many, but some. We have presently in Yoakum County 26 active cases. So continue to pray for those situations and healing for that. We want to pray especially for our Shinnery Oaks. We know those folks are especially vulnerable, and so please continue to pray that the COVID-19 remains out of Shinnery Oaks, our local nursing home. But all of those updates affect us in that we're trying to make plans around them. But we know we're not afraid of the virus, and we don't wear masks, or we don't social distance because we're afraid of a virus. We do that so other people be confident that we are taking this serious, because we are, and we want to make sure that they are confident to come. And so whether the mask helps or doesn't help, and what research says it does and doesn't do, that's really not our our aim is to make people feel comfortable in the house of the Lord at this time during these days, because we feel like, and I think the truth would bear this out, that the hope we have as Christians is Jesus, and we want to share Jesus with people, and we want to make sure that we have an environment to do that in, and we want to share the hope of heaven, that this is not all there is. All of what's broken in our world is one day going to be set right, and God's not allowing anything to happen in our world that He's not intending to redeem. And so we look forward to that. So those are the measures we're taking right now. Those are the things we're planning right now. We're still not going to have children's Sunday school for a period of time because of the situation, but we are doing children's church at 10:45 during our late worship hour. We're still doing 2 services, 8:30 and 10:45. If you want to try one of the other services, if you've been coming at 8:30 and you want to go 10:45, just let us know that you'd like to do that, because you're missing some of those folks. And so we'll make sure we have enough space. But we'd welcome you to do that. I think we have room right now to do that. I hope we don't have room soon to do that. And I hope at some point we'll be able to put all our chairs back in, because we need them, because people are open and ready to come back together again. One thing I know that's happening during these days is there's no casual Christians. That people who want an excuse not to come to church are not coming to church, and that because they have a great excuse now. But there are lots of folks who are committed to the Lord, and I know lots of folks even who would hear this update who are committed to the Lord and are not presently comfortable with the COVID situation and not coming back as well. So there's all sorts of things going on, dynamics going on in the church. But what we want to do is just give people opportunities to gather with other people, to pray with other people, to share and care for other people. So one of the things we're gathering around is the book of Daniel, and we're developing our faith in the midst of adversity. And so this week we get to cover Daniel 5, and it's all about the handwriting on the wall. You've heard that expression. I see the handwriting on the wall. What does that mean? Well, that means the current circumstances would lead to a certain outcome in the future. That you can see things developing now for the future sense or the future case. And oftentimes it means that judgment might be coming, or that something like a job loss or something is coming, or a lack of opportunity because of the current situations, or maybe an opportunity presents itself. You see the handwriting on the wall. Where does that expression come from? It comes from Daniel 5. We see literally a hand in the king's palace in this great banquet hall, writing on the wall. Just a hand, just the fingers writing on the wall, and it writes Mene, Mene, Tekel, Parsin. I don't know if I've said that right, but that's what we're going with right now. And so what that means is, Mene means numbered. Tekel means weighed, and Parsin means divided. And it's a message to the king at that day. Nebuchadnezzar's gone. His grandson now is on the throne in Babylon, and the message is specifically to him. He's done some things that God is judging, and that God is telling him with the handwriting on the wall that his days as ruler of the king of Babylon are numbered. In fact, his life itself has been weighed with the scales of justice, and his life itself will be taken from him soon. And the kingdom of Babylon will be divided. It will be split up between the Medes and the Persians, the next great world empire. So God is telling him that in those specific terms. But God also has a message for us. And I think one of the things that we are going to look at on Sunday, I hadn't fully developed all the sermon yet, but we're going to look at how this may be a message for us as Americans. I know there's a lot of handwriting on the wall for us. Some things that we need to turn to the Lord over and get right with Him about. And so when we think about what's going on there, I just want to share some things that I've jotted down about this. One, in comparison, and you draw the comparisons yourself. Babylon became great because of the sovereign blessing of God. Nebuchadnezzar became great because God allowed him to become great to judge His people. We know that when they became great, like almost any nation in the history of the world becomes great, they become proud. And then once they become proud, they forget about God. And when they forget about God, we take Him for granted, and ultimately when we take Him for granted, God judges that. We begin to do things that are contrary to what He's called us to do, who He's called us to be. Now there's some parallels, are there not? God has blessed us as Americans, as a great nation. We have not become great on our own. We have lots of characteristics and economic systems and work ethic that has been brought out, but God in His blessing has caused America to be great. And when we become great, in some ways we've become prideful and we've forgotten about Him and about His ways and His Word. And now, I don't know, but it seems that we've been in a period of judgment for some time because we've gone our own way and we've done our own thing, and now we're facing the consequences of that. I just want to ask you to pray in these days. Pray the Daniel Challenge prayer that we've been praying 3 times a day. Pray for yourself and pray for world leaders and pray for your family, your impact. Pray for workers, because people are open to the gospel there in these days. But also pray that you and I turn back to the Lord in His ways. I want to leave you with this thought, or these words from the prophet Isaiah, from Isaiah 55, 6 through 7. It says, "Seek the Lord while He may be found. Call upon Him while He is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return to the Lord, that the Lord may have compassion on him, and to our God, for He will abundantly pardon," or freely forgive. I'm convinced God wants us to turn because He wants to forgive the direction we've headed. And so I would encourage you, pray for workers, but also the last little word I want to leave you with is be a worker. Make disciples, but be a disciple in these days. Think about how you can change your world. What we've been talking about for some time now, and will continue, is we change the world 8 to 15 people at a time, the sphere of influence that God has given us. So would you get on board with that strategy? Think about the people in your world that God has called you to have influence and impact on for the kingdom. That's God's plan. And so we want to follow His plan to change the world. Thank you. Have a great week.